sometimes you ask yourself, are you successful?
In general, we need to be more intentional about being kind.
Yeah.
It's so cheesy, but I really think it's an intentional decision.
Success.
Local Minnesota podcast talking about people who have become successful in their own line of work, whether they've started their own business, had a side hustle, or just been highly successful at their W-2 job. And here we are connecting people. Tune in, see who's on board today. Hi, everybody. We're here with Wesley Uthus, the owner of Primp. So you've grown Primp from the ground up, and we're really excited to talk about like how you start a clothing company, how you become so famous, because everybody I know loves shopping there. It's a great local company. I love shopping there.
Yes, you look fabulous.
Thank you.
Wear it well. You wear it very well.
Thank you. It's like I love your Christmas stuff, so I'm very excited to have you. Thank you for coming.
Yay, thanks for having me.
And we, let's get into it. So I think let's get started just because this is our Christmas month. A lot of people are shopping. What do you guys have going on for Christmas?
So we just last weekend launched our kind of our final holiday collection. Like we kind of have been staggering it, and it's called the Merry and Bright collection. We have some beautiful pieces that are reds and pinks and even kind of like an orangey red, just a little bit of a twist, I would say, on your classic holiday pieces that maybe you already have in your closet. So really, really cute pieces. We're going to be having a flash sale actually this weekend. This is a surprise. So people don't know, but if you are listening, you get the inside know. So everything will be 30% off this weekend only.
Oh my gosh.
And then we do a big end of year sale, and there'll be all kinds of little in-store events, but we always serve champagne and mimosas and all of the fun things to make shopping fun.
Way more
as
fun.
It should be.
Yeah. Then it's like a whole girls trip.
Yes.
100%. We
100%.
we did a girls' little brunch at a place over in Cathedral Hill. We're like, we're going to Primp after this. We walked in and they offered us champagne. We're like, this is a whole girls' day. Like it was incredible. And your people are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing.
Good. I love to hear that.
Yeah, it was cute. You walk in and they give excellent service. They offer you the champagne or something to drink. I took the bubbly water, but. And as you shop, if you're carrying things around, they'll set up a fitting room for you.
Mm-hmm.
So nice.
Yes.
It feels very luxury, but I think that your clothes are very affordable too.
Mm-hmm. Good. That's the point. That's always what we're really hoping to achieve. I mean, there's been a lot of changes in the industry since we started 13 years ago, and it's become more challenging to find that really affordable price point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we always strive to have some pieces at least that are like really, really affordable and under that $30 mark.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you've definitely did that. And I think you've got a nice line of you can go there and get something like very pretty and very fancy. Like I saw that pink duster, the holiday one, talking about bringing in colors. It was between this one and then the pink duster. So
that would look fabulous on you too. You'll have to come back this weekend.
This weekend. Now that I know there's a sale, you got me.
There you go.
You got me. So you kind of talked about getting started 13 years ago?
Yeah.
What? Okay, so talk to me about of all the businesses you could have started, what made it this?
So I was pretty recent out of college. I went to school for fashion design at the University of Minnesota, and I graduated at just a really challenging time. I graduated in 2008, just the peak in the recession. There were not tons of jobs, but especially not creative jobs for entry-level employees.
Absolutely not. No.
And so I was working in retail. I worked at boutiques and the mall since I turned 16. So I was always working in retail and was doing that, waitressing, and I started designing. So a friend of mine were designing on the side just handbags for fun. Cool. Started out just to kind of a creative outlet, and it kind of evolved into a business where she and I were selling handbags to local boutiques and pitching them, trying to sell them wholesale. And we just noticed through that experience that all of these boutiques were struggling. Like it seemed from our novice eyes, we didn't know, but there was never anyone in these boutiques. And a lot of the owners or the buyers weren't really picking up new lines. They weren't, they would maybe sell in consignment. Our bags weren't selling. And we took a trip to Chicago to look or to pitch to boutiques, to look into manufacturing, to just sort of get inspired. And we noticed that these high-end boutiques, I just like remember so vividly. And who knows if this is even really what it was like, but it was on one side of the street were these like high-end boutiques. And across the street was a Forever 21 and Francesca's, and they were packed with people. Like there were tons of people shopping. There was no one shopping at the high-end boutiques. And at the time, she and I were like, why isn't there a boutique that sells affordable things that's not Francesca's? Like that was pretty much the only place. And so we went for it. I mean, basically from conception to full execution, opening day was about 4 months. We just went for it. And I mean, we both brought $8,000 to the table and bought inventory. We did the whole build out. I mean, we bootstrapped. Like we just did all the things.
I mean, $16,000 is not a lot to start a business.
It was unbelievable. Like I don't think we could ever do it again. We have not done it since in our locations.
Doing it in a recession probably helped.
It did. And I think for our concept, it helped that shabby chic was all the rage in home decor, where we're like, Craigslist. And we bought all these junky tables and painted them and it worked.
Yeah.
And this was 2010 when we opened our first store. And I mean, $16,000 overwhelmingly went towards inventory, and we pretty much sold out of everything opening day.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we were slammed. It was really hot out of the gates. We had an incredible turnout at our grand opening, and we didn't have Wi-Fi because 2010.
Sure.
It was plugged right on into the wall, and we. But my husband and I like ran next door to the bar that did have Wi-Fi, and we were like overnighting inventory.
Wow.
So we were like, we're open tomorrow. Like we've got to have product to sell. And it was wild. It was really wild. Every day we were just selling through basically the inventory that we were buying.
Wow. That's incredible. That's so
wild.
Rare for businesses to do it like that.
Yeah. And I think that is, for us, we didn't know what we were doing really. And it ended up being a huge opportunity for us because I think had we had, $100,000 to start, we would have had a totally different business model. And that kind of buying and receiving quickly is still to this day our model. I mean, it allows us to be really quick in responding to trends, and we're replenishing what we're selling rather than going into a season and assuming we know what our customers want.
Right.
And so, really was our greatest challenge in the beginning has turned out to be a huge opportunity for us.
A building block.
Yeah,
that's
for
so
sure.
Cool. How did you get the momentum to have enough people in your store to sell out day one?
We're right on the corner of Selby and Dale. We're still there. That was our first store, and the store that you visited to get your adorable top.
I was going to ask which was first.
Yeah. So that, as much as I don't want to give my landlord all the credit, which he does not deserve, but he does have an incredible space there.
It's a great space.
And it's just so visible. And, everybody's driving into downtown St. Paul. You go right past that. So the drive-by traffic at the time, I may still be this way, but at the time, it was the second busiest intersection in St. Paul. And so it was super, super busy. So we just kind of put our sign up. We put all the paper up in the windows. We had little postcards that had our grand opening information that were just kind of like outside and said, take one. I mean, it was
that's so simple.
Major bootstrapping. We didn't know. And it was different times with social media and things. We could post on Facebook and
it'd go viral.
It would take off.
Because there was only one social media back then.
Yes. It's so much more simple.
Right?
Now you have to pay and it's all the things. But yeah, I feel like back then it was just a much simpler way to market the business. And I think people's curiosity is what really drove them in. And we pulled down the paper just right before we opened the store for our grand opening. And it was, there was a line of people down the street to come in.
Oh my God.
crazy.
This is things you see in movies.
Yes. It was really surreal. It was really, really surreal.
Did you have like inventory on display up front so people could see how cute the clothes were? Or was it just new store, let's go support them?
Yeah, we did have merchandise up in the windows, and we also had a website that was very basic. And so we had a Facebook page where people could see some of the inventory that was coming in. And we would open, in those days as we were prepping, we would just leave the door unlocked and people would come in and check it out and then tell their friends. And so I think it was just the exclusiveness of it and the excitement of just there not being anything like it, I think is what really led to that initial big success.
Yeah. That's so cool. I'm sitting here and I'm trying to take notes of like, okay, how do I open a successful business now? Okay. It's location.
Location is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's delivering in your concept too. I think for us, what was unique about Primp is our price point. I mean, as we discussed.
You're okay.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Newbie. I'm just talking with my hands. And we, for us, we knew that what would make our boutique unique was having everything under $100. Yep. Most things under $50, like pieces that people came in and were surprised by the price point. And then to your point of starting fitting rooms and offering champagne and giving that level of experience that isn't common, like is really only done if you're buying a really luxury item or jewelry. And I think it was surprising when people would look and be like, wow, this dress is $46.
Yeah.
Like everything in here is affordable.
Yep.
And
that makes me buy 3 dresses though.
Yes, exactly.
Like I have a really hard time spending $100 on one item, but if I can get 3 for $100,
yes,
take my money.
I agree.
Isn't
I'm the same way. Totally. No, no, it's not. We depend on that.
Yeah, I guess so. You've done the research.
We like our customers feeling that way. It's the value.
Yeah. It's like it's really nice. And like I think I've told you this before, but one time I was going to a wedding and I was in a pinch and I like forgot to pack my jewelry. So I walked in there. This is probably 4 years ago and got something. I thought it was just like a little piece of gold and I'm sure it was going to tarnish in like 6 months, whatever. I still have that. It's my favorite pair of earrings. Like, and it's in great shape and it has not tarnished. It has held up really well. It hasn't even scratched.
Wow.
Like it's a quality item.
I love that.
I don't remember what I spent because it was that long ago, but I know it was affordable.
Yes. I can promise it was under $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love it.
That was the Sioux Falls location. So maybe even cheaper. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you go as like in depth with your inventory to do different pricing for different markets? Or is it kind of like, this sells so we know it'll sell there?
It's pretty much the same. Every store has a different kind of customer, I would say. Similar but different. I think our suburban locations in White Bear Lake and Woodbury is just more of a suburban mom that comes in. And so we try to cater to her and her lifestyle and having, maybe more athleisure and pieces that are fun going out tops and things like that. Where Selby is very urban, young, a lot of, college age students and young 20s. And so we want a lot of cute going out dresses and trendy pieces that are really unique. And but pricing wise, it's the same. The inventory selection may be a little different, but mostly the same. And Sioux Falls is our best location. It's a really yes. It's a really, really good store. And it's our biggest too.
It is really big.
And so, so it has more inventory than all the others, but it's a great, great store for us.
Huh. Well, I know you have so many different locations and I definitely want to hear about the growth. I want to hear about when it's the decision to add another store and how that happens. So first was Selby. What was the process for starting the next store? Which store was it?
So it was really crazy whirlwind those first few months at Selby. And so much of it was we were so unprepared for that level of success. We just had
kids.
Yes. We were totally clueless. My partner and I we were the only 2 employees working. And so we were exhausted. We were working from open to close. Originally, we were only open Tuesday through Sunday and we'd be in there Monday, like trying to prep inventory. And eventually we're like, so many people are trying to come in. We just have to be open. And so it was happening so fast that I would say within probably 2 months, we were like, we should really open another store on the west side of the cities.
Yeah.
So we opened by the time we opened, it was about a year later at the West End.
Okay.
And we opened in 2011 in November. That store has since closed. I don't think Weston ever quite got the legs that we wanted it to, but we closed that location back in 2019. But it had a good little run. It was good. And then a year later, we opened Wiper Lake, so downtown White Bear. It's such a cute area. We're
That's
still
a great
there.
area.
It's awesome.
Mhm.
There's so many great little shops. I feel like people who live on the west side of the cities don't realize like what a gem White Bear is, and the great restaurants. It's worth a little day trip or
Right.
even an overnight, just like a fun staycation. So cute.
So every once in a while, I get a client who's looking in White Bear, and they want to get in because they know that they're never going to leave. So
Mhm.
houses in White Bear sell like hotcakes. They're like pretty affordable.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and there's a lake right there. Nobody
Yes.
talks about it. And it's a beautiful tourist destination. Their downtown is adorable. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows like the high school hockey coach. Everybody knows everybody. And it's definitely a cute little community right in the middle of the cities that feels like a Hallmark movie.
Totally.
Yeah.
It has definite Hallmark movie vibes. Like,
Yeah.
very much so. Similar to Excelsior, which we have a location in
Okay.
Excelsior as
Was that
well.
the third?
So nope. So White Bear was 3, and then number 4 was Minneapolis. So we had a store at 48th in Chicago in South Minneapolis.
That was my store.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't own it, but I would go there like twice a week. Not twice, once every 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great spot. We closed that one during the pandemic. I mean, Minneapolis was it went through a lot
It
during that
did.
time. So sadly, we closed that location. And then, so Excelsior was 5.
Okay.
So cute. Love that area too. And Woodbury, we're in Woodbury Lakes. That was our 6th.
Mhm.
So in 2014, we opened those 3 stores. We opened Minneapolis, Excelsior, and Woodbury. And then from there, we started expanding outside the city. So in 2015, we opened Rochester. Wow. And 2016, we opened Sioux Falls and Mankato, which has also since closed. And then this year, just back in June, we opened our new Minneapolis store at 50th and Bryant.
Yes.
So
Great location there too.
yeah. Oh, love that corner. So many
Mhm.
good restaurants. And it's kind of this new season now for Primp. I think now post-pandemic, we kind of cleaned things up. So we also actually closed down our Rochester store in 2022. We've since reopened in the same location.
Okay, good.
So we have 7 stores right now with kind of after everything shook out.
Yeah.
And we've now since reopened. So
Good. I think so. How do you know when to shut a store down and how to reopen it? Like Rochester is probably a great indicator of when to say this isn't profitable anymore.
yeah.
And then do you just get to a point where you're like, I miss it? Or is it?
I think it's really interesting because, and this could be very much just a feminine quality because I feel like men are more traditionally like black and white with it. Is this business working or is it not? For me, it is so much more complicated.
Yeah.
I have extremely close relationships with my staff and the area and the community. I mean, that's another piece of what makes Primp is our connection to our community and our connection to just the other surrounding businesses. And like, we want to be there because we love that area. And so it is really hard. It's hard for me to look at the paper and be like, especially if it's a store that originally was successful. And I think Rochester was a store that was always a really strong store for us. And it was night and day. I mean, during the pandemic, it was Rochester Mayo is everything,
Right.
Being in a medical community during that time. I mean, it still hasn't really rebounded to pre-COVID because I think our whole world, we've adjusted and those medical kind of administrative employees are remote. And that was a huge base of our business. And so I think it was really, really hard to make those decisions. I think that a big takeaway from me when I was forced to make them because it was like I didn't have a choice. It was like we can't be here. It kind of makes it for yourself. But when I left, or makes the decision itself. But when I left the Rochester store after we cleaned everything out, I was like, I know we'll be back. I just knew.
Good.
Like I kind of just had that, I don't know, that instinct. But it's so hard to know when to close, I would say. For me, it's a challenge. But with opening, similarly, we have, 7 stores. They're all individual businesses. Still talking with my hands. Yep. They're all individual businesses. And so the way we're structured is then we have a holding company, that operates. And also all the stores really have to support the holding company for that to make sense. And so if a store is unable to do that, it can't, it doesn't make sense to keep it open. And likewise, if all the stores are doing really well and we know that our team has more capacity, we can open additional locations and know that it will just only continue to grow the business and make it more profitable. And so it's been, clearly I've learned a bit since the early bootstrapping days. I'm opening the first store.
Yep.
And that's, I think, how we've structured our business and how we do our accounting and our bookkeeping. Like we really try to make the decisions based on the numbers the most we can, which is
the most you can.
Again, you've got to have the heart.
Yeah. So much of it is emotional too. And I know that you are really good to your employees. So it's, I mean, going back to just the Rochester location, there's so many companies that hold on way too long to something that isn't doing well. And then the whole business tanks. So knowing when to cut that cord is a very hard,
so hard.
COVID, like that's a lot of businesses didn't make it through there. So you're in good company. Is that like the way to say it?
I think resilience is what we took away from that season. I think all of us in different ways. But I think as a business owner, I was also at the time pregnant with my 3rd child. And it forced me to take action. I previously, like when we closed the West End store and Mankato, both of those took way too long. Those were pre-pandemic. We hung on to them. We tried everything with West End in particular. It's like it turned into a sales store. Like we tried to make it, marketed as an outlet. Like I wanted it to work so badly. And finally it was like after exhausting it and bleeding the money out of that store, I closed. Whereas during COVID, it was like, well, I don't have a choice, so bye-bye. Like I got all these other employees that I have to deal with. And I think seeing that now, and hopefully I don't need to close any more stores. It's obviously part of business. And so I'm sure at some point I will, but I think the takeaway was like, you get through it. The sooner you make the decision, the sooner you can move forward. And that's, I think we can apply that to so many different challenges we have in our lives.
Like starting a new business too.
Yes.
So many people are like, oh, but it's not perfect yet. Was your business plan perfect when you opened it?
Oh my God.
No.
I think, there was a lot that we had right. I would say a big piece was just our passion for it. And we wanted to shop at this boutique, it was me and my business partner at the time. And she and I loved fashion, loved shopping. Like we were the customer and we knew that this was missing in the market. And I think that has always been our advantage in business. It's like, well, if I wouldn't buy it, if I wouldn't shop there, like if you wouldn't need my customer or my employees, like if you wouldn't shop there, if you don't want this, style, then let's not carry it. And I think that it's like we believed so wholeheartedly in it, it didn't feel like work.
Good.
And I think that's really what you need to do. Like you need to believe in it, but you need to stay nimble and open. And it's really, really hard. It's not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not. And I think so many people start a business just because they think they're going to get rich and they get into it for the money.
Yes.
That is not the way to ever make money.
Never. We were like, we have to sell 6 dresses a day to make rent. Like we had not factored in anything else. Like we just got to keep the lights on, like no payroll, no pay for ourselves. That was all secondary to just keeping the business going. That was really the focus. And granted, I didn't have kids. Like I was, neither of us had kids at the time. And like we had so much less to lose. Like now, even if I'm bringing in a new collection or launching a new idea, like I have so much more hemming and hawing over that than I did in opening Primp because I can't, I have more, it feels like I have more to lose. And so I think for young entrepreneurs, it feels like people are such naysayers in terms of, stomping on their ideas, but I think they really have only so much to gain from that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to go for it when you can.
Yeah. You only have so many years where you're able to take a risk.
Yes. Yes. So, so true.
Mm-hmm. I think, I don't think I would get into real estate if I was starting it tomorrow. No. I don't think I would do it.
You know too much now, too.
Yep. Do I want to give up weekends for the rest of my life? But no, I think that's huge. So like going forward, you talked about like motherhood. How much has that changed how you run your business?
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. It's like there's so many ways that I could answer that question because I think it's obviously changed me so much and how I approach the world and see the world. And I think that, it's really forced me to slow down, to be strategic with my time and really where I'm investing my energy. Still yet to fully figure that out. But I think it's forced me to look at my business in the sense of like, I don't have the time to burn myself out on this. Like I have to step away. Like I want to be able to go on a field trip in the middle of a day on a Wednesday with my second grader. I want to be able to clear my schedule and stay home if someone's sick. I want to, the little things. And I also want to be able to go on a family vacation and disconnect and not have to be attached to my devices. And so I think it's really been a huge work in progress. I don't know that I'll ever fully figure it out, but I think that it's kept things into perspective. And it's really interesting because when I was pregnant, I have 3 boys and my first was born like in the peak of the business. Like it was our most profitable year in the business. In 2015, I was like on top of the world. Like I had this baby. I was like, oh, this is so easy. I can do it all. Like I can do this. And when I had my second, it was 2018 and I was buying my business partner out that year. And so
from the peak to the valley.
Yes, the peak to the major valley. We had 2 stores that were failing. It was, she was exiting. I was buying her out. I mean, it was, I had my son in August and in the hospital, I was looking at like spreadsheets and my husband and I were talking about it. And I, ended up formally like papers were signed in December of that year. And it just, at the time I was like so stressed out. Like I was so stressed. And I just kept knowing that it was like, this was forcing me to take care of myself. It was forcing me to take care of someone else. Like I had to see the bigger picture of why am I doing this? Like I have this brand new baby.
No, why? Like, I mean, what made you decide to buy the company versus like just let it all go?
You're like, no, really though.
No, really,
why did you do that?
Not many people would be like, oh, partner, you want out? Okay, cool. I'm going to buy it. Versus like just putting it on the open market and seeing who else would buy it.
Yeah.
A quick cash out versus a salary?
I know. I mean, I think for me, I knew my work wasn't done. I felt like we had reached, there was a lot of things boiling to a head in that season of the business where we had grown really fast. We were churning out stores faster than we could really kind of recalibrate and learn from what the business was teaching us. Like we just were turning a blind eye to the problems. We were kind of just opening. It was more, bigger, and we were building up and not out. And I think that it was, we really needed to pause and like develop more of a strategy. And I knew that. And that was always really what I was the most passionate about in the business. Like my partner was really, really passionate and driven by growth. And for me, I was really passionate and driven by strategy and by kind of the management piece and my employees and the relationships. And I felt like we were at a season with Primp where like I needed to utilize my skills. And I really believed too that I could sell it for more. Like I was kind of like, if I could just stick this out for a few years, like I could buy her out and then right size the business. And then if I won out, it would be a more strategic move for me to
100%.
take that approach. And I could not, I mean, it is not even on my mind right now. Like I love what I'm doing. I feel like I have been able to develop so many systems, and I'm just so proud of my team and kind of what we've built in the last 5 years. And then I had another baby during COVID. So same thing all over again. I was like, when is the worst time to have a kid? Let's do it.
I mean, a lot of people had COVID babies. There was a lot of time at home.
Oh, my word. Yes. Yeah. But the difference is for me is I found out I was pregnant like 2 weeks before the shutdown. It was not a true COVID baby. It was like a pre-COVID baby. I look at him and I love him so dearly and he completes our family, but I'm like, you would not be here had you.
Yeah, 2 weeks later,
like
no
2
way.
weeks later, I think we would have been like, oh, no, I think we'll be good with our 2.
Well, imagine like you probably didn't know you were pregnant 2 weeks into it, but like,
No.
yeah, finding out you're pregnant and then finding out that the entire world is getting shut down for 2 weeks.
Oh my
It
God.
was only 2 weeks.
It was only 2 weeks. Like my stores will only have to be closed for 2 weeks. I know.
Uh-huh.
It was wild. It was really, but again, I think I knew that I had to take care of myself in that season. And so you get through it. We did. We all did. Here we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think those life changes are always an opportunity for like the reset you need. So that's really funny. I feel like that's always the ebb and flow of business. Like you're pushing, you're growing, and then you get to the point where you can't grow anymore because you need those systems.
Yes.
So,
yeah. And it's the less glamorous side of business. You know, it's to sit back and be like, oh, how do we improve our training? How do we improve our, site selection? Like it's not sexy. It's not the like, we're opening a new store. Like that's the fun part. That's the exciting piece.
That's also the part that people notice. They don't realize that like you have to do payroll every 2 weeks.
Yes. Oh, payroll.
Payroll, schedules, like the whole inventory management, I'm sure is really hard to predict also.
Yes. Yeah, it is. I feel like that piece is the buying and the inventory management and the pricing it's hard. Like that, I don't think anyone's fully figured it out except maybe like Walmart. But I even think Target. Every time I'm at Target, I'm like, wait a minute, you're always out of bananas. Why are you always out of bananas? And I'm like, okay, well, you struggle with it too.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true. I mean, you never know what's like trending on TikTok recipes. It's hard to predict.
Totally.
It might be banana bread that week.
Could be. We're going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yep. No, I think, and then they've got a whole team. They've got statisticians. Totally. They've got the whole thing predicting it. So just keeping up is good. Having inventory is good.
Yes. We just keep our lights on. We're just ready to sell. And we do use a system. This was kind of right before the pandemic too, which was so helpful and I think was essential in allowing us to really carry through and grow. Was it's a inventory buying planning kind of software, which helps us to know like, oh, sweaters, like chunky sweaters are selling really well right now. Let's buy more of those. Or, formal dresses are selling better than casual dresses. It helps us to kind of predict and push forward where the customer is kind of leading that charge and how we're buying, which helps. That's really a lot.
Nice. So does it like go back years? So you can say like September, the second week, that's when all of our fancy dresses sell.
Yes.
That's really nice.
It's really, really nice because trends also dictate, I think denim has been killing it for us, which in recent, like in the last year, we've just had a really, really strong year of denim. And I think there's so many trends right now. It makes sense. It's like out with the skinny jean, in with the straight leg or the flare. Like there's so many trends as compared to, 2 years ago where it pretty much was skinny. Like you would have like a dark, a light, and a distressed skinny.
Yep.
And now we're just wearing in bottoms. And like, so those trends have definitely changed kind of how we buy now than we did last year. But the fashion is always in movement.
It's always
thanks
moving
to social media.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys do have a good social media too.
Thank you.
So when you buy your clothes, do you go directly to the distributor? How do you find who to buy from?
So we do go to trade shows. We go to market in LA. So pretty much all of our vendors, we have a few vendors from other places, but most of them are out of LA. So we travel out there a few times a year. We go to market in Vegas and Chicago and Atlanta, and it's super fun. Dallas, where they're all there, and we can just kind of
Pick and choose.
see the product in person. But a lot of them, I mean, it's really easy to buy online too. And so if we can't hop on a plane and go see it in person, like they have great product shots, and I feel like they really have made it pretty easy for us to buy our product that way too.
I think online, the hardest thing for me is that see-through?
I know.
It's so hard to tell quality.
Totally. Oh my God, I know. And it's nothing worse than buying something and being like, oh, and this has rhinestone buttons up the back. Like that would have been nice to know. you know, little things that you can't see it in a picture. It has like a tinsel sparkly that you weren't expecting. And
now you get
and now we have, 36 of them.
And they always sell eventually, but
yes.
Your handbags. What happened to your handbags that you were designing?
I still have a few actually in my garage, actually, I think is where they are. No, they were quick to get kicked to the curb. Once Primp took off, we were like, for a while, we were like, should we keep going with this? And we're like, no, we should just stick with what's working. People don't want our bags. That's okay.
That's okay. You tried.
Okay, yeah.
Learned a lot.
We did.
I think that's cool, though. So many times people try something that they think is going to be the end-all, be-all to business, and it goes a completely different way, and you're more successful than you could ever imagine.
Totally. So. You can't, you really can't always predict what's going to be that idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Primp.
I have a question myself real quick.
Yeah.
So you said that your high quality prices are good and other boutiques weren't doing that. How do you keep the prices so low if it's like higher quality?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you answered that already, but I do want to.
No, let's do it.
No, that's a great question. So we a lot of it is in how we control our margins. So we don't do a ton of sales. Like this time of year is really the only time of year. Like we always do a sale in July. We always do an end of year sale to like clear out the inventory to bring in the new season. But we don't get crazy with our markup. Like, I mean, truthfully, and we just find the product. We do our best to market as low as we possibly can in order to still be profitable, obviously. And just wanting to clear it out as fast as possible. Like our business model is really, get it in, move it out. We have 6 of each style at each store. And once it's gone, we're bringing something new in. And so it's really based on that quick turnaround. I hate to call it fast fashion because I feel like
it's not fast fashion.
It has a bad rap, but yes, but it is the same concept in terms of like really having pieces that move quickly.
At a limited inventory.
Yes.
Do you think that like a lot of like businesses that have higher markups, they could be doing things differently, but they're, I was thinking about the furniture industry even.
Oh, yes. Like, I mean, I think they could. It's really interesting because so much of it is fueled by marketing and baking in so many sales. And I think it is hard when you have to buy something full price from somewhere where you're like, oh my gosh, this place always has sales. They're probably going to, when is this going to go on sale? Should I just wait and not buy it? So it can kind of it's an interesting business model, and it does work. A lot of huge mass retailers do it that way. And I think if you have, hundreds of thousands of units to move through, you kind of can, because you can take the gamble of like, well, if we sell a few hundred of these, at our highest margin, then even if we take a hit on the rest, like it's worth it. Like it's worth it for the people that like have to have it for full price. And I think for us, we're just like, nope, we want to keep, we want our concept to be fast. We want people to come in and always find a new store. We want to have, the trends that are really current, and the best way for us as a small retailer to do that is by having like the smaller size runs and the lower price, so people will just not wait to think it will go on sale, and also not trying to trick people into spending more.
If you have to wait for a sale, then you can't.
Right.
I always think that just because you always have such a limited inventory, I'm like, oh, it's in my size, so it's meant for me.
Yeah.
So there's the dual.
Totally. I do
dual
that
marketing.
too. I'll be like, okay, if this is still here by the end of the day, then it's meant to be. And I should just buy it.
How many times have you been tricked into that?
Every shift. I feel like every time I'm in a store, I'm like, oh, people will come out of the fitting room like, oh, do I need that dress? It's like, no.
I mean, technically, if you get it, it's a write-off because it's advertising for your store.
Yes. I have all of the ways of of negotiating with myself
Yep.
and having way too much.
Your girl math.
Yes, totally.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yep.
huge fan of girl math.
Yeah, if it looks cute on me, then it's an advertisement. So that's
Exactly.
girl math.
Yes.
Mhm.
100%.
Mhm.
100%.
God, you're going to make me start a store. Gosh.
Come on in. You can, yeah, I'll teach you all the things.
Okay, cool. Cool. Primp 2, okay?
Yes.
When you guys see Primp 2 on Selby and Dale. So if you could start it again at the beginning, what would you change?
Mhm. It's a great question because I think it's like so easy and such a cop out to be like, well, I wouldn't change anything. And I do kind of feel that way because I feel like going back to what I was saying earlier, I feel like we really lacked systems
Mhm.
and strategy. Like we really went in pretty blind. And I mean, as I said earlier, it was a huge opportunity that we had, a leg up we had, I feel like, on a lot of other boutiques that had been around. It's like we came in, we did things totally different. We had no idea what we were doing. But I think that all of our growing pains, I mean, I will go as far to say 100% of the growing pains and the challenges that we faced could have been avoided had we just had more structure sooner.
Mhm.
So even if it wasn't right from the beginning, I think had we just like paused on the number of stores and really focused on the quality of stores, I should say, and the quality of location and kind of the foundation of the business, we would have gone further
Mhm.
in the long run. But we're getting there now.
Yeah, you're there now. And so do you think that now that you have these systems in place, that growth is still on your horizon?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. We're really, really determined to open more stores this year. Well, next year, I guess. Probably not in 2023. This year is done.
I
But
mean, maybe if you see
maybe.
a deal.
That's right. Nothing is never until it's over. But
Mhm.
but yes, definitely opening more stores in the future.
Okay. And are you, obviously you'll expand more in Minnesota, I assume.
Yeah, I think we will probably open another store in Minnesota. Right
Mhm.
now, though, I'm very passionate about new markets outside as well.
Okay. I was going to say, like, I see you going across the United States. I don't know.
I would love it.
Yeah.
I would love it.
Mhm.
I feel like we're ready.
You are.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you're already in 2 different states, right? 2? Or you
Yeah.
have 3?
2. Yep.
2. Okay.
Yep. Minnesota and South Dakota.
And the best one,
Mm-hmm.
the highest profit one.
Yes.
Hard to pick best. But
Yes.
is
I know.
South Dakota.
It's a good one.
It
It's
is
very
good.
motivating to keep that going.
That is very interesting. So you let me know if there's anything I can help with you.
Yes.
Expanding.
Oh, I will.
Just keep me bookmarked.
Yes.
And I probably won't start Primp 2. So success always looks so different to everybody, but how do you define it?
It's hard too. It's a hard question, but I think for me it's flexibility.
Mhm.
I really think that I want to be flexible. I want my business to be working for me and to be able to go on the trip and be spontaneous, to have a new idea that I can pursue and know Primp is stable. I think
Mhm.
feeling like there's a flexibility and a contentment, not complacency, like not totally like giving up, but just knowing that it's working.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Totally. No, that like the stability of having a steady form of income, to have a reliable plan that you know is working, gives you so much more flexibility and allows you to actually live the life you want. business is one thing, but
Yes.
the one thing business provides is your ability to live the life you want.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, booking the trips, going on the school field trip, that's huge.
Yes.
Those things are what matters. I mean, it's cool to have a very successful business.
Yes.
Very cool. But at the end of the day, you've got it all if you're just on vacation and spending time with your kids. So.
Oh, 1,000%. And I think I've learned nothing lasts forever. We
Mhm.
know this, and in business and life, it's like everything is temporary. Like the highest of the highs, the lowest of the lows, it's not permanent. And so you have to find joy outside of business or you'll go crazy. Like
Yeah.
it can't hold that much value on your happiness. And so it has to work for you. It has to allow you to live your life or it's not. Why are you doing it?
Yeah. And that goes back to like, you don't do a business to have money.
Yes.
You don't.
No.
You do it for your family.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be an excellent clip. So we talked a little bit about houses oh gosh. So, talk to me about like your house. What's your home like? Where's your home base? How I'm assuming you own. Actually, I do know
Yes.
that you own.
Yes, I do own.
Mhm.
I do own. I live in Edina in like your typical 1950s Rambler.
Mhm.
It's way too small for our family right now. We bought it in 2014, right before we had our first child. And it's just funny. Like we thought we knew what we needed in a home. We're like, oh, this would be great to grow our family in. And it has been. Like it has been a wonderful, wonderful home. And we have so many incredible memories. But having 3 boys, we need more space.
You need a yard.
We need some more space.
Do you think that you will remodel or move?
That's the $1 million question.
Okay.
We've been looking at remodeling. We love, love, love where we're at. Like we
Mhm.
really love our neighborhood. We love our kids' school. We love our friends. Like we just really, really love where we're at. And I mean, that's the goal. It's a house is whatever. Like it's, we want it to work for us. I think we need it to not cause more stress than like comfort, which
Yeah.
is sort of we're teetering with that right now.
'Cause how old are your boys?
They are 8, 5, and 3.
3.
Yep.
Okay. And I saw the 5-year-old soccer game.
Yes, that's right.
Yep,
You
I
did.
did.
Yep.
Yeah, they're getting to the age where they are just loud and big and crazy and always playing.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand the pinch.
They need space to move. So, but I really do love where we're at. And I do love so many things about my house, but it's time. It's time for the next chapter or however that looks.
Yeah.
We're still figuring that out.
I think, yeah, if anything, like the theme of your podcast is location, location, location.
Yes.
Because that first Primp store, it was location that did it.
Yes.
And now your family is in a spot where they're all comfortable in a great location. So
Yep.
location, location, location.
That's right.
A little is there a phrase that you live by? Like, do you wake up every morning and you're like,
Oh my gosh. Okay, there's 2 directions that I could take it.
let's go
One,
both.
okay, we'll go both. We'll go both directions. From a life and business standpoint, I feel like people want to be noticed. Like that is so important. And it's really important in my business because I think in general, like we're really conditioned to walk into a store and not be acknowledged. And I have said it 1,000 times. I say it to my staff. I mean, we have to notice people. That's all it takes is just, hi,
Yeah.
welcome. I see you. Thank you for being here.
Mhm.
And I think even out in the world, I just really try to like notice people and be aware of what they're doing and what they look like and what they're wearing and just tune into that because it really is so meaningful for women to feel that.
Yeah.
Just the other thing though that I run is no mean girls. Like I cannot stand mean girls. It's in my handbook at Primp. I have let people go for being a mean girl, cliquey. Like there's no tolerance for that at Primp. And I think that it kind of goes hand in hand, I guess, with noticing people. But I just think it's it has to be with intention. Like I feel like women, when you're all together, we can get catty. It can feel exclusive. And it's like, if there's one place that does not exist, it's Primp. Like I really feel so passionate about not allowing that kind of behavior in my store.
Yeah. I think like you do a really good job of highlighting that everybody brings value. And sometimes when people bring value, they need to feel good too. So you get them a cute outfit that they do, or you just give them a work environment where they are able to bring their true selves, like their true kindness and the value they bring to the table. And that helps with a lot of the teams that you have in your stores.
Yes. I think they have to, I mean, how can they create a safe, fun place for women to shop and to feel pretty and appreciated and like they want to take a risk in the fitting room if like they hate their job or they don't like their coworker or their manager is not nice to them, or I mean it all comes full circle. And so, and I think in general we need to be more intentional about being kind. It's so cheesy, but I really think it's an intentional decision.
Yeah. You have to, I mean, it's just so easy to fall into the negativity. And I love that you literally have it in your handbook. Be a nice person.
Yeah. It shouldn't be that hard.
It really shouldn't be. I don't know why there's so many mean people out there. But
I tell my kids, I'm like, it is not any more work to just be nice. Just be nice. Or don't say anything.
Yeah. If anything, it's way more effort to be mean.
I agree.
Yeah.
It just makes you feel bad. But yeah, if my 3-year-old can learn it, I do feel like we can teach it to adults.
Yeah.
He's working on it. I wouldn't say he's nailed it, but he's getting there.
It's so hard. It's so hard. 3-year-olds usually have like a little ego.
Yeah.
Gotta overcome.
There's some big feelings.
Big feelings. He'll get it. He'll get it. I think, okay, who is another successful person that you think would be good on this podcast?
Oh my gosh, I have so many. I'm trying to think of, so I'm in a women's business group called WPO. And oh my gosh, the most incredible women business owners. We meet every month. They're amazing. Who would be, so
you can just email me.
I'm going to email you. I'm going to email you the full roster, all 22 women. I'll be like, what do I do with this? But
yeah,
so many amazing women.
I definitely I don't want to be exclusive to men, but I definitely want to highlight female-owned businesses. So that'd be great.
I feel like we're not as good at promoting ourselves, like putting ourselves out there, you know. These women though, they're badasses. I feel like you would really like them. Okay. A lot of them.
Maybe I'll come. Maybe I'll sponsor dinner next time.
Oh, do it.
And then on the topic of dinner, what are your 3 favorite restaurants in the Twin Cities Metro?
This is a hard question for
I know.
a couple reasons. One being I don't get out nearly as much as I wish I did because, you know, children. And 2, because there's so many great places. And I feel like they keep popping up.
They do.
Okay, so keeping it close to my new store because I just love that 50th and Bryant. I'm still learning. Like there's so many good spots. St. Genevieve is so good.
Okay.
I mean, just great French food. Love that place. Great vibes. Tenant.
Yes.
It's so good. So fun. I feel like every time, I've only been once, but I've heard every time is different. It's different menu. It's like fresh, like in season ingredients, and it's not like, it's fancy, but it's not unapproachable. You know, it's like edible as it should be.
Yeah,
but
it's
like,
edible food.
It's edible food. It's delicious, like really well done.
Yeah, no, I was there recently for the first time, and I was just so impressed.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Where else? I mean, I love, obviously, Mr. Paul's Supper Club. Like,
I was going to say that one for you.
I love that. I just love the vibe. Like, I feel like every meal I've had there has been good. It's just really great bar. And my husband and I love just sitting at the bar and just like, it has a great bar.
Great bar, great cocktails.
Yes.
Like their recipes are so creative. Those also switch. They're seasonal. They're
I didn't know that. Okay.
I've had a different cocktail menu every time I've been there. But for me to go to Edina is a little
Yeah.
little further. But no, I really like all of their cocktails.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go there for more. Now I'm hungry and thirsty.
That's what you're doing for dinner. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Mhm.
Yeah, for my 8-year-old's birthday, he'll be.
He'll love the cocktail menu. Can you make a virgin martini?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's just water. Well, thank you so much. I know you've got a lot to celebrate right now. You've got your Christmas sales coming and whatever the new year brings, and an 8-year-old's birthday party to get to.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
This
you
is
so much,
fun.
Wesley. Yeah, this was great. No, thank you. Happy to have you again sometime.
Oh, I can't wait.
Success.